The people have spoken. You are banished from this land. Take her away.
O God of justice, hear me. Prove my innocence. Her tears drop into the river. The water begins to ripple unnaturally, then recede. Momankem looks up in shock. In a small, peaceful village surrounded by rolling hills and dense forests, an old widow named Momankem lived quietly. She was a kind woman, respected by some but misunderstood by many. Life had not been kind to her. She had buried her husband and 3 children, leaving her with only her grandson, Chinedu, to care for. Chinedu was her joy and her strength, but fate had other plans. One fateful morning, the villagers woke up to shocking news: young Chinedu was dead. The boy had fallen mysteriously ill and passed away within days. Whispers spread like wildfire. Tongues wagged, and suspicion took root. The villagers, looking for someone to blame, turned their eyes to Momankem. "She's a witch," shouted one woman. "She killed her own grandson," cried another. The clamor reached the palace, and soon the king, pressured by the cries of his people, summoned Momankem. The old widow, frail and trembling, stood before the king and his council, trying to defend herself. "I am innocent," she pleaded, her voice breaking. "I love Chinedu more than my own life. How could I harm him?" But the villagers had made up their minds. Fueled by fear and ignorance, they demanded her punishment. Reluctantly, the king ordered her banishment from the village.
The people have spoken. You are banished from this land. Take her away.
She was to leave immediately, never to return. Momankem's heart broke as she gathered her few belongings. She walked slowly through the village, tears streaming down her face as the people jeered and hurled insults at her. Her frail frame carried the weight of injustice, and her cries pierced the silence of the night. As she reached the edge of the village, she stopped by the river that had been the lifeblood of the community for generations. Kneeling by the water, she lifted her hands to the heavens. "O God of justice," she cried, "you see my heart. You know I am innocent. Vindicate me, Lord, and show them the truth." Her tears fell into the river, and as they touched the water, something extraordinary happened. The river, which had flowed abundantly for decades, began to dry up. Within moments, the once lush banks were barren, and the villagers' lifeline was gone. The drying of the river was only the beginning. Crops withered in the fields, the wells ran dry, and famine began to spread. The livestock grew thin, and the children's laughter was replaced by cries of hunger. To make matters worse, strange illnesses began to afflict the villagers, and accidents became alarmingly frequent. The once thriving village was now a shadow of its former self, and the people grew desperate. No amount of sacrifices to their gods or rituals performed by the local medicine man could reverse their plight. Fear turned into confusion, and confusion into regret. Months passed, and the village's misery reached its peak. One day, a native doctor from a neighboring village arrived at the palace. He was known for his wisdom and spiritual insight, and the king, now desperate for answers, welcomed him with open arms. The native doctor performed a series of rituals and communed with the spirits. Finally, he turned to the king and spoke. "The cause of your suffering is clear," he said solemnly. "The widow you banished is innocent. Her cries of injustice reached the heavens, and the spirits have turned against you. Until you bring her back and seek her forgiveness, this land will remain cursed." The king was stunned. The council, once so confident in their judgment, hung their heads in shame. Realizing their mistake, the king ordered an immediate search party to find Momankem and bring her back to the village. The search party found Momankem living in the forest. She had built a small shelter from branches and leaves and survived on wild fruits and roots. Despite her hardship, her faith had not wavered. When the villagers approached her, she was hesitant to return. "We have come to beg for your forgiveness," the leader of the group said, kneeling before her. "The land suffers because of the injustice we have done to you." Momankem looked at them with tear-filled eyes. "I forgive you," she said softly. "But I pray this serves as a lesson to never judge hastily or unjustly again." The villagers escorted her back with great honor. Upon her return, the king himself knelt before her and asked for her forgiveness. She placed her hands on his head and prayed for the land. As her tears fell once more, this time in the middle of the village, the skies darkened, and a heavy rain began to fall. The river flowed again, the crops sprang to life, and the village was restored. Momankem's story became a powerful lesson for generations. The villagers learned the importance of justice, compassion, and humility. They realized the dangers of blind accusations and the pain of injustice. From that day on, Momankem was revered as a symbol of resilience and faith. She lived the rest of her days surrounded by love and respect, her once broken heart now healed by the same villagers who had wronged her. And the village, now thriving once more, never forgot the power of truth and the hand of divine justice. Thanks for watching. What did you learn from this story? Drop it on the comments section, and subscribe to this channel for more captivating story.